second. Rebroadcast. Film. Music.
Where you going?
It's okay. I'll be back. It's alright, I'll introduce him.
Hey, you don't look like him.
Am I live? Here we are. So we're still working out the bugs. So welcome. Online. Oh, you know, maybe the load. You have to turn that
Spiderman! Dude! Quick, I got 4 seconds.
Now we're live. Hi folks, welcome to Film Music Live. We're going to be chatting momentarily with Mr. Christopher Young. We are in his lair, his studio in Culver City. He's blocks away from the Sony lot, which was formerly the home of MGM, where they did such movies as Wizard of Oz. And they have an amazing scoring stage. It's called the Streisand Scoring Stage after Barbara Streisand, which is unusual because Barbara Streisand never was a film composer as far as I know. Anyway, Christopher Young is a Golden Globe nominated composer. He's done almost 100 movies. He has almost 100 movies to his credit. Everything from Hellraiser to Entrapment to The Hurricane to Bandits to Murder in the First, Jennifer 8, just to name a few. Chris most recently has scored such films as Drag Me to Hell, The Grudge, and Spiderman 3. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is approaching. Mr. Christopher Young.
Oh,
we're all
sorry,
live.
late. Bravo.
Hello, hello. Where are we at? There we are. Hello.
So you can just sit back, and this will be the camera too. So we're very primitive here.
Yes. Sorry I'm late.
Um,
I was out shooting up some heroin in the car.
we can't edit this.
Oh, that's okay.
This is live. So I was telling people about some of your most current projects, which included, well, Creation and Spider-Man 3.
That's right.
Grudge 2.
Grudge 2.
Drag Me to Hell.
Drag Me to Hell.
And tell us a little bit about
When in Rome.
When in Rome, yes, a romantic comedy.
The Jennifer Aniston movie was called Love Happens. Yes.
So,
a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
So tell us about The Priest. What you're working on.
Yes. This is a science fiction film, sci-fi fantasy set in the far future, far distant future. It's based on a Korean comic book of the same name, and it's directed by Scott Stewart, whose previous movie was Legion. And it is a really exciting sci-fi film in which priests are doing battle with vampires. The world is dominated by two opposing forces. Priests who believe that all things good are directly connected to God and the will of God and the lessons of God, and of course the vampires who think God's a bunch of malarkey and they're just interested in sucking blood. So it's an interesting good versus evil story.
So they're not the enduring vampires like the ones you like on TV.
Right, exactly. That's right. So it's very exciting. Lots of music, big music. Gothic madness with choir, and that's going to be a very large sounding score.
Was the director down at Comic-Con promoting the film at all?
Yes, he was at Comic-Con. He was there on Friday, and I heard that you can show the trailer of the movie, or actually, I'm sorry, you can show the prologue, the opening of the movie, with a mock-up of the prologue music that I've written. And he claims the audience went berserk. And then they had some of the stars show up, and of course that they melted. The stars walked on stage, as they often do in Comic-Con.
Who's the stars in the film?
Paul Bettany is the main star. Also, oh gosh, Christopher Plummer.
Oh, Christopher Plummer. Wow.
Christopher Plummer's in it. Why should I forget that name?
Mr. Von Trapp himself.
Exactly.
Sound of Music.
Yes.
And so Paul
She
Bettany.
started, climb every mountain.
so Paul Bettany, you scored another one.
That's
Film
right.
of
So
his creation.
I'm waiting to get a little some kickback or something. Maybe
Maybe Jennifer is kind of
Jennifer
jealous.
Connelly.
Kind of jealous of you now.
She might be.
So, tell us about.
Does he love? Did you love some music more than you love me?
You know what? Those are the rumors that you're working hard to start. I can't. Well,
that's being married to a woman like that.
When I saw her, I did imagine that.
Yes, actually, did.
We met them at the premiere in Toronto of
We did, that's right.
At the Toronto Film Festival.
That's right.
You're just coming up again in 2 months. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So, what got you into film composing? How did you make the transition? You're originally from Red Bank, New Jersey, the home of Count Basie. And so,
hey, in case everyone's wondering what's directly behind
what we're gonna do is you're gonna give us a tour after.
I'm gonna give you a tour. Okay.
So
that's Lon Chaney Jr.
Not only do people get to come here and watch Chris Young or talk to Chris Young, but the one thing about Film Music Live is we try to do it in studios, so you get a tour of the studios. Like our premiere episode with John Jetman, we get a tour and realize that he has these giant Iron Man masks now.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about you because he also has a giant predator. Yeah, wait till people look at.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we're in Red Bank, New Jersey.
We're in Red Bank, New Jersey, and the way it happens is that I didn't know anything about film music. I was still a jazz drummer, once upon a time an ex-rock and roller, who is going into the record store in Red Bank, New Jersey, which is the hometown of Count Basie, which is also where Kevin Smith has his operations. And if you ever see the film Chasing Amy, that actually is Red Bank is the featured town in that movie, and I do believe that we see in that movie, as I recall, Ben Affleck entering Jack's record store. It's called Jack's Music, Jack's Record Shop, and so this is the record store that I used to go into as a kid to purchase all of the vinyls and turn my life around. It so happened that I went in there that day with I think back in those days, this is in the early 70s, records were like $7.25 or something like that, maybe. So I went in there with, the $15 that I had in mind for the 2 records that I knew I wanted to get. But I also had a little extra money that day, I think, for that one album, and I didn't know what it was I was going to get. So lo and behold, I go in there on the far rear corner of Jack's was the section devoted to musicals and movie scores, and they didn't have many entries in this concern. Completely different than it is now. So I go back there, and lo and behold, there is this record that's got a really cool cover on it, very colorful cover. As a matter of fact, the CD still has the same cover, and it was called The Fantasy Film World of Bernard Herrmann. Now, for all of you out there who don't know who Bernard Herrmann is, or I should say was, he started his career in New York City after graduating from Juilliard, working with the Mercury Theater, directed by Orson Welles, and did the music for their live radio shows. And it was, of course, as you probably know, based on the success of Orson Welles' production of The War of the Worlds that brought him to Hollywood's attention. And so Orson moved out here, never had directed a movie before his first film being Citizen Kane. Lo and behold, he brought Bernard Herrmann with him to score that movie. Not a bad first movie for someone's career in any of the disciplines that were connected to it. But so that's how Herrmann started. He did Orson Welles' first 2 movies, that and Magnificent Ambersons. But he's probably best known for the film he